dog, off, you know, leave me alone, you're a piece of shit. Just horrible things, you know, things that you shouldn't say to people, especially someone you love.
For obvious reasons, Peter and Liz don't want to be identified. For many years, theirs was an abusive relationship.
I guess I was just angry at everything.
Where do you think that anger came from?
I have no idea. Still no idea.
Peter was adopted as a baby by loving parents, but his anger persisted, and in his teens, he joined a gang.
Were they father figures to you in ways?
Yeah, a little bit, because you wanted to be like them. Like when they walked down the street, people moved.
Can you give me some examples of how they treated women?
Just objects, like, for fun.
They hit them, swear at them?
Yeah, of course, abuse on all levels.
Through the gang, he developed a drug addiction, made numerous court appearances, and met Liz.
My ex used to go to him for drugs, and then we just kind of clicked. We just hung out overnight for a few weeks. He told me he liked me first, and that was just it. That was the way it went.
I told her I loved her pretty quick. It's good to find someone in an ocean of craziness.
They were in love, but Peter had a strange way of showing it.
What would you do?
Swear, push, shove, you know, mouth off.
Liz is pretty small as well. You're a tall bloke.
And at the time I was a lot bigger too.
And you bore the brunt of that.
I was scared of him to a certain extent.
Did you think about leaving with your son?
Yes. I did leave with him. I went back, I think it was 2 weeks later. Even when he didn't notice it, he was always my best friend.
Their son Danny was only 2 when removed from their care after being injured in an accident. Child welfare authorities found Peter guilty of neglect.
It was horrible. It makes you feel as a failure. You're embarrassed, you're humiliated.
They took him from my arms, which was the most heartbreaking part. I was just happy he went with my family. That was the only thing I could think of. At least he's with family, not with strangers.
It was then that Peter was referred by a judge to a program called Caring Dads.
I think that for a lot of these guys, that idea around what it means to be a man and that strength gets misinterpreted as needing to be strong and aggressive.
Over 17 weeks, such beliefs are tackled head-on.
You're not here because you're a bad person. You're here because you're doing some bad behaviours that we really need to look at because they're having a really bad impact upon your kids. They pick up on the feel.
Yeah, the vibe of the house and the way mum is.
I hear a lot, I'm a great dad, but I'm a shitty partner. We don't believe that that's something that's possible. People sometimes have a stigma of this is the type of dad that uses violence. It's not true at all.
No, there's no cliche to it.
We had engineers to tradies.
Abusers are encouraged to confess to each other where they've gone wrong.
It takes a lot to stand up and be so vulnerable in front of a bunch of strangers.
You've got to own what you've done.
And what did you learn?
I'm responsible for my own actions. I can only control what I do and think about other people.
Research has repeatedly confirmed that violence against women is driven by rigid expectations of what makes a man and a woman a woman. Inequality leads to disrespect, which leads to violence.
You kind of formed these beliefs over the course of many years. Was it hard to unpick them?
No, not really, because it's not the legacy I want to leave for my child. I don't want him to grow up doing the things I've done and treating women the way I've treated them.
Men are also asked to consider what kind of fathers they want to be.
In the course, there's a segment called Still Face, and I think it's a 3-minute video. It's got a couple of different parents interacting with their children, and then halfway through it, they're just blank. And the way the baby reacts is just horrible. Starving for attention. And the reason why that took on such meaning for me is because I had done that. But to see it looking outside in was horrible, absolutely horrible.
There are dozens of programs like Caring Dads across the country, but vacancies are scarce.
The shortfall is massive. We know the programs right across Australia have waiting lists in excess of 6 months. That's just not acceptable.
Only last week, Parliament heard a list of 60 women who'd been killed this year.
Lindy Kimi Lucina, Dana Isaac, Maria Williams.
At least 45 of those women were allegedly killed by a man who was known to them, and 15 women a day on average are admitted to hospital. Programs like Caring Dads may not work for everyone, but there's little doubt it's done wonders for Peter.
For him to change means anyone can. I've tried for so long to get him to change into a better person, the one that we can be. Nothing I did worked. It's amazing to see how much it's changed all over.
4 months ago, their son Danny came home.
So tell me, how have you changed as a dad?
A lot. There's no more still face, I can tell you that much. He's my best friend. He's smart, smarter than what I am. Loves technology, loves the outdoors. Scared of dogs though.
Every bit of your face just comes alive talking about him.
It's love for your child. It's nothing like it.
Those domestic violence statistics are just so horrifying, and I know that programs like this are so important, but it makes you think that it should be happening earlier on. Like these are programs that are happening for people who have had incidences occur, and it really needs to be preventative. I wanted to ask you, Sarah, so I know that sometimes these are court-ordered, but can people opt into them if they want to?
Absolutely, absolutely. And Pete and Liz, their story just really stuck with me, and because they've changed. Well, certainly Peter has changed and Liz is benefiting from that. It definitely needs more funding and it's definitely a way we can bring those terrible numbers down when it comes to violence against women, that's for sure.